Week 7, the point of the season where dreams die, trade offers get desperate, and we find out who is actually paying attention. We're halfway through the regular season for fantasy football, and it is survival mode. Some of y'all are fighting for playoffs. Others are fighting for dignity, like me. Week 7, start, sit, different day, starts now. Let's get into it. Welcome to Club Fantasy FFL. This is Start, Sit, Different Day. Week 7 is here. So are we. Josh Hudson, I am Gator J. This show runs on your questions. Drop those Start, Sit dilemmas in the chat because Start, Sit, Different Day doesn't happen without you. Bye weeks are here again. A little light this week with Bills and Ravens on the bye. But again, another 9:30 a.m. East Coast time, 6:30 a.m. West Coast time. Rams, Jaguars in London. But, you know, Josh, you brought this up right before. This is 6 straight weeks. We haven't had a guest on our show since week 1. But we've had breaking news, or at least some sort of big news, every effing week. And yet again, week 7, without fail, Puka Nacua is officially ruled out for Sunday's game in London. Woof. Who's stepping up for the Rams this week?
The long and short of it is Davante Adams is going to eat with Puka Nacua out. So with Puka Nacua through 6 weeks of the season, Davante Adams is already seeing a 39.6% target share. And you would imagine, can that actually get better? Well, Puka with Davante is seeing a 46.7% target share. So the long and short of it is, yes, we could be seeing a wide receiver seeing well above a 50% target share in this offense against the Jaguars in London this week. But while I do think that Jordan Whittington, who's been kind of a hot waiver wire ad in a lot of leagues this week, he's going to see more run in this sort of Puka Nacua role, which will keep Tutu Atwell in the slot. Don't sleep on Tyler Higbee. I've had some conversations with one of our writers, Chris Molina, who is a devout Rams fan, and he's talked about this on numerous occasions. When one of their star wide receivers, whether it was, Woods and Kupp, whether it was, Kupp and Puka, or now Puka and Davante, Tyler Higbee's always been that guy that's just sort of there, that when the team needs him to step up, he steps up and starts to ball out, sees more targets, gets more run, scores more touchdowns. Puka Nacua out this week. You will see a lot more Tyler Higbee. And look, Matthew Stafford's a veteran. What do veteran quarterbacks typically rely on? Other veteran players. Tyler Higbee's been in this system for a very long time. He's going to be looking, Stafford will be Higbee's way, especially in the middle of the field, the red zone. So I think you have a very capable streaming tight end this week in Tyler Higbee.
I like it. And it is as they say, tight end eve or tight end week eve, whatever it is for week 7, because next week is tight end eve. Remember, like and subscribe here on YouTube. If you're on Apple, Spotify, any other podcast platform, hit that follow button there for us as well. Again, I say this every week, but if you want your question or comment posted to the top of the order here, jump that super chat or hit that super chat button, and we will get you right to the top. Before we get into the show too far, make sure you join our Discord. I'll drop that link here in the chat for you guys. But Josh, while I'm doing that, let us know what's going on over there at Trophy Smack.
Absolutely. The fantasy football season's here, and Trophy Smack is where you want to get all of your rewards. They have trophies, rings, championship belts, all designed to tell your league mates who the real champion is. So hit the link in the description of this podcast and check out some of the swag that you can get to gloat and lord your accomplishments over your league mates. It's all available at trophysmack.com/club fantasy.
I want to give a shout out real quick to our buddy Ryan. Ryan Weiss does our injury report. So I'm going to change up the injury report. I've got it all listed, but I'm going to go off of his report. because it gives it more in the order of players here. So at quarterback, we've got Brock Purdy, J.J. McCarthy out. Kyler Murray is questionable. At running back, we got Bucky Irvin and DeMarcado out. Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, Hassan Haskins are all questionable. As Josh just alluded to, Puka Nacua is out at wide receiver. Terry McLaurin out. Chris Godwin, Ricky Pearsall, Calvin Ridley. Christian Watson, Josh Downs is out, and Ryan put a note in here. Seems like he's Downs and out. That's his dad joke for the week. Darius Slayton and Garrett Wilson are doubtful. Abuka, Samuel, Debo Samuel.
God, you said it correctly. Holy shit.
Mike Evans, Stephon Diggs, Marvin Harrison Jr., Christian Kirk, Jacoby Myers, Jalen Coker, Darnell Mooney, and Octavian Wicks are all questionable. David Njoku out. Brock Bowers is still doubtful, and Zach Ertz is questionable for the leagues that have kickers in their leagues. Brandon McManus is questionable, and it looks like Jason Sanders could return, but it also looks like Riley Patterson rather is going to be the kicker for Miami this week. That is still it's week 7, and that is still a shit pile of people that are on the injury list. But we do have a couple possibly coming back this week too, with Mike Evans and Jalen Coker, and even CeeDee Lamb is possible back this week.
Oh, they've already said CeeDee Lamb's off the injury report. He's good to go.
He's good to go. Okay.
Yeah, Lamb even came out and said that he could have played last week, but wanted to make sure that he was at 100%. So no limitations for him this week. He should be back to his top 5 self.
Perfect. Josh, let's hit a couple of these questions before we dive too far into the show, if that's okay with you. We'll start at the top, and Zachary jumps in. Start Bill or Rashee at flex in his PPR.
I'm so glad that we're already starting with Rashee Rice questions, because he's on the thumbnail for a reason.
That's right.
People, you have held Rashee Rice for 6 weeks for this moment. You are starting Rashee Rice. I will have some more info on him a little bit later, but you are starting Rashee Rice. No limitations. He is full go. He absolutely destroys zone coverage, and the Raiders love playing it. So fire up Rashee Rice. He should have a top 10 week this week.
100. Jimmy brings in a good morning. Half PPR, Keenan Pittman or Mason Taylor in his flex.
Don't love starting tight ends in my flex, though Taylor should see a ton of targets. I just don't really think... I don't know that they're going to be great targets, I guess is kind of my point. Keenan, I think, is starting to take a little bit of a step back. For me, it's Pittman this week.
Chris jumps in and says, PPR, Jordan Mason versus Philly, Travis Etienne versus the Rams. Also flex, Mason Etienne, A.J. Brown at Minnesota, or Ted McMillan at the Jets.
I'm inclined to say Jordan Mason. Let's see. Etienne's going to get a ton of volume. I like that for him, as will Mason. A.J. Brown, Minnesota's been playing really good defense. It's just really hard to sit A.J. Brown. Not loving McMillan this week against Sauce, especially because the Panthers tend to struggle on the road. I think I'm going to go the 2 running backs, Mason and Etienne, this week.
I think I'm there with you. Joseph jumps in and says, so I was able to get Justin Herbert off of the waivers. So is it Bo Nix, Fields, T-Law? And I'm guessing this is for his second QB.
Maybe.
No, Justin Herbert wouldn't be on the waiver wire for...
I mean, if it was a shallower league, it could be.
Okay.
8 or 10 team, you know. I still think it's Fields. Look, I get it. He was terrible last week. I personally don't think he's a very good quarterback, but he's a good fantasy quarterback. And Carolina struggles on the road. They're 0-3 on the road. They're 3-0 at home. They are in New York this week. Fields coming off of a dreadful week back stateside. Already questions in New York media about his job and starting status, etc. I think that should motivate him to try to get off to a quicker start. Obviously, not having Garrett Wilson there is going to affect him in terms of passing. But we don't love Fields for his ability to throw the football. We love him for his ability to run. And if nothing is there, if he doesn't have that number 1 target to throw to, his first move is going to be tuck it and run. So I think you're going to see a ton of rushing yards from Fields this week. And I think that's ultimately what will propel him into that top 7 this week at quarterback.
So bad want to say Bo Nix right here. I just think there's a good opportunity for him up against that Giants defense. I know they're good front, but I think there's a good opportunity for him there. Caesar says face Chase, start Caleb, Love, or Fields. Also flex 3. Dowdle, Waddle, Bill, Hall, DJ Moore, Shaheed, or Ramondre Stevenson.
Well, I mean, if you face Chase, you're probably chasing the upside. While I like Caleb and I like Love, Fields is your upside play, and I don't think there's any debate about that. You need to flex 3. Hall should see a lot of run, not just running the ball, but also catching the ball. So I would lean him. Really hard to sit Dowdle, not even going to lie. That Jets defense leaves a lot to be desired anyway. And then for me, it's kind of between Waddle and Bill. God, against that Dallas defense, man, there's so many holes. Problem is he just doesn't catch passes. So you're really banking on 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, which again, not out of the realm of possibility. Dolphins being up north, I believe they're in Cleveland this week. The weather kind of iffy. I'll lean Bill. So Dowdle, Bill, Hall for flex, and then Fields as the starter. Because again, you're chasing upside having already played Jamar Chase.
Good morning, Trone. Olave, bad weather in Chicago or Devontae Smith versus the Vikings PPR?
Oh, God. Probably Smith. Vikings tend to take – I mean, look, they're good against wide receivers, period. It's a complete opposite of last year. It's the weather for me with Olave. So I'm gonna lean Devontae.
Okay. I think I'm there with you as well. Let's get a couple more in here. Zachary jumps in and says the score right now is 58 to a -4. He had Jamar Chase and the Steelers defense. I know it's need to know whether to start Rashee or Bill at flex.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about. I mean, even going against, having faced Jamar and being down that much. Here's the thing, and I just said it with Bill. Dallas, you can run on Dallas. Bill just doesn't catch passes. So his upside then becomes more limited in the sense that he needs that 100+ yards and 2 touchdowns, which again, can very well happen. But in a PPR league, this is where Rashee Rice eats up defenses. It is all about volume, and he's going to see his 10+ targets. So to me, he's the ultimate upside play, even over Bill in a good matchup.
Trone jumps back in and says, should I drop Cooper Kupp for Calvin Ridley with his hamstring to stash on his bench in a full PPR?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. At this point, it feels like they're kind of the same wide receiver. I do think that Cooper Kupp is more of a wide receiver handcuff. I know he scored this past week. So kind of makes that idea look a little dumb, but he's not going to see any relevant volume unless something happens to JSN. So you're going to get these 3 for 25 weeks. And then every once in a while, you'll get like a 5 for 40 and a touchdown kind of thing. Calvin Ridley, once he's healthy, is the wide receiver one there. I know they floated some trade rumors and stuff, but here's the thing that we need to understand about the NFL. Teams don't actually trade as much as we want them to, because the trade deadline is week 8. Teams have no idea where they are unless they're the Jets and they just flat out suck. That's it. Like if a team is 2-3 or even 2-4, they can get hot, go on a run, and still make the playoffs. That's a lot harder to do when you're 0-6, 1-5, something like that, right? Even if you're like a fringe, 3-3 team, you don't know where you are. You don't know if you're a borderline contender. You don't know if you're getting ready to lose the next 11 games. You know what I mean? So teams just really don't have enough information for them to figure out what type of team that they are. So a lot of them are unwilling to trade their key assets. We've all been saying that, the Bengals aren't going anywhere without Joe Burrow. So look for Trey Hendrickson to probably get moved, right? what happens? They make the move for Joe Flacco. They lose last week, but then they come out in a shootout and win on Thursday. So is there still magic left in Joe Flacco's arm? So what happens if they don't move Trey Hendrickson because they're not giving up on this season? But then they still lose 7 of the last however many games and then don't make the playoffs and then lose Trey Hendrickson for nothing in the offseason. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. The trade deadline in the NFL is just terrible because teams don't have enough information. So because of that, I don't want to bank on Calvin Ridley getting moved for me to say, oh, well, if he gets traded, his opportunity is going to be so much better. Take the opportunity for what it is. He's currently a Tennessee Titan. Yes, he's dealing with a hamstring right now, but the season will eventually get a little bit better. It'll get going. They'll have better matchups, etc. He's still much more of a volume play for me than Cooper Kupp is.
I like it. Neil needs help. Drake London or Debo in a PPR?
It's Drake London. It's not even close.
Not even close. Joseph, who to flex? Tutu, Shepard, Tez Johnson, or any Cardinals running back? So you have all the Cardinals running back?
Not really loving the Cardinals this week.
Not against that Green Bay front.
Yeah, no, definitely not against Green Bay. For me, it kind of boils down to Shepard versus Tez. They played Detroit Monday, right? Bucks did.
Monday night, yes. And Detroit is without a few key players in that back end.
So I think Shepard is more the safe play.
Mm-hmm.
He's the floor. He doesn't really present much of a ceiling, if I'm being quite honest. But Tez does. Tez is an electric playmaker. The biggest issue with Tez is that if they play any level of press or man coverage, he's going to get thrown off his route so bad because he's 140 pounds soaking wet.
165. Get it right, Baker Mayfield.
It's the same fucking thing. Okay. These guys bench twice as much as him is the point that I'm getting at. So that's basically how I would look at this. If you need a floor play, it's Shepard. If you need a ceiling, it's Tez.
I like it. All right, Josh, let's get over to the show sheet real quick and let's talk a little bit about our favorite matchups of the week. And I'll let you start first with our thumbnail, Rashee Rice.
Yeah, baby. We've waited 6 weeks for this moment. It's here. No need to doubt whether or not you should start Rashee Rice. He's warmed up. He's ready to go. They have 0 limitations. They're putting him in expecting a full workload. Las Vegas has allowed the 7th most fantasy points to wide receivers and are currently running the 5th highest rate of zone coverage in the league. Why does that matter? Well, let's check out Matt Harmon's reception perception. In a very small sample size last season, we saw what Rashee Rice was able to do. But Rice had a success rate of 89.8%. That is the 5th highest ever success rate in the reception perception database. Again, it's a small sample size. So let's look at since 2023, which you go back to Rice's rookie season. Rice is averaging 3.08 yards per route run against zone coverage. That is Puka Nacua level territory. He is only behind Puka in that category since 2023. He eats up zone coverage. The Raiders run a bunch of zone coverage. It is not a question. You are starting Rashee Rice and you are treating him like a wide receiver 1, not only this week, but for the foreseeable future.
I like it. One of my guys this week is going to be Quinshon Judkins. This is a smash play for him against the Dolphins. Last week he was slowed up by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He hasn't done much in the receiving game throughout the year, but I believe this week could be that week. Dillon Gabriel has not been great throwing the ball down the field because, well, they don't have anybody to throw the ball down the field to. And David Njoku.
Oh, wait, you're telling me that Jerry Jeudy's not good? Wow, who could have seen that coming?
He's gone for 80-plus rushing yards, 3 out of the last 4, and he's averaging 93.5 yards of scrimmage in per game. So let me just smash a Quinshon Judkins start this week against this Miami defense, who we've seen can't stop anybody.
His rushing prop has jumped like 20 yards.
It's at 94 and a half.
Yeah.
Right
it was
now.
at like 78 and a half earlier this week. It's wild because, again, the weather, so everybody thinks he's going to run. And you know what? I would still smash the over.
I think so. I think, and I want to say too, I would actually go to the rushing and receiving because it's only at 105, I believe.
I mean, he's not going to catch any passes. So really
I don't care. I don't care. If he goes for 110,
no, that's fair.
Rushing, we're good.
That's fair.
But if he does catch that one pass, it adds to it. So who's your next guy?
I'll stick on the running back side. It's J.K. Dobbins against the Giants. They're in Denver. Rookie quarterbacks going to Denver, playing in that high altitude. They tend to suck. There's going to be a lot of turnovers from Jackson Dart this week. So what does that mean? Denver gets to run the football and eat the clock. Who is that going to benefit? J.K. Dobbins. 3 running backs this season have rushed for 80 or more yards against the Giants, and they're averaging 99 yards per game allowed to the running back position. To boot, they've also allowed 4 different running backs to have 3 or more receptions. Dobbins isn't as involved in the passing game as we would like, but we also know that Denver is not afraid to throw to the running back position. I think this is a scenario where they get up early and they lean on Dobbins very heavily. That is going to yield plenty of fantasy success, and he should be a very easy to pencil in RB2 this week.
I like it. Here's my homer pick for the week, and it's K. Dotton at Detroit. The Bucs are facing a rash of injuries we just talked about. This could be the week for K. Dotton. Over the last, he's played more than 90% of the snaps in every week this year. Last 2 weeks, 9 of 11 targets, 132 yards. Although he's only had 1 red zone target, which is kind of wild to me that he's only had the 1, but whatever, especially as much as Baker's been throwing the ball. So we're still looking for that first touchdown. He's great tight end too, a great fill-in, especially this week in Detroit, who is allowing 14th most receiving yards, 7th highest yards per reception, and the 12th most fantasy points to tight ends. Last 2 weeks, Otten has had more than a 19% target share, over 66 yards per game, 3 yards per route run, and is 11% first read. Again, looking at the Bucs injury report with Mike Evans, Puka, and Godwin all dealing with injuries. This could be a smash play. And again, like I said, Detroit's back end is not playing this week. They're just all hurt, very much like the Bucs wide receivers. What do you think about K. Dotton this week?
Yeah, I don't hate him. Usually when the wide receivers are down, he tends to step up. What do you have? 6 targets last week, 5 catches, something along those lines.
It was a
streamable week. It wasn't anything spectacular by any means, but all it takes is that 1 touchdown, and now you've got a top 10 tight end. So,
yep.
I mean, look, I mentioned with Tez, like, he's very electric. He can get pushed off the ball really quickly. Cameron Johnson, another nobody that people are suddenly starting to hear about. You've got the wily veteran and Sterling Shepard, who's just Mr. Reliable. You're going to see a lot of Rachaad White out of the backfield. Don't be surprised one bit if we see some K. Dotton pop in the next week or 2.
100%. All right, don't forget, hit that like, hit that subscribe here on YouTube. If you're over on Spotify, Apple, whatever other platform, podcast platform you're on, hit that follow button. Again, if you want to get your questions answered right away, hit that super chat for us. Join us over in the Discord. There you go. It's the Discord now.
Discord.
That's right. All right, let's get back into these questions, Josh, because the people are asking 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, 2 flex: Pollard, Spears, Dobbins, Vidal, Bill, QJ, Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, Travis Hunter, Christian Kirk for Quincy.
All right, I'll start at the running back position. I do like Vidal this week, but I'm going with Bill and Dobbins. 1 wide receiver. It's definitely QJ for me. 2 flex. Kendrick Bourne is a must. And Vidal.
Very
so
nice.
I'd go to the 3 running backs there.
All right. Caesar says flex 1, Devontae Smith, Vidal, or K9.
Oh, I'm going Vidal.
Yeah.
I can't trust Kenneth Walker with how they're using Charbonnet. I've said before with Devonta Smith, the Vikings do have a good pass defense, and they're limiting wide receivers' fantasy production.
Yeah, I'm with you on that as well. Joseph says, which tight end to stream this week? Mason Taylor, Ingram, Michael Mayer, or Higbee?
I think Higbee presents more upside potential. Taylor's the volume play. Because, again, without Garrett Wilson, they don't have anybody else to throw to. So I fully expect Mason Taylor and Breece Hall to be at the top of the target food chain this week. If you don't trust Fields, lean Higbee. That's what I would say. Otherwise, I'm going Taylor.
Yeah, I think it's Higbee this week. We talked about Puka not being there. You laid out all the cases for him earlier. So I think it's Higbee. ETN, AJ Brown, or Olave in the flex for Zarad.
Again, hard to sit AJ Brown, but give me the volume with ETN.
I like it. Keaton says, should I trade Derrick Henry for Garrett Wilson in a full PPR?
I would do that in a heartbeat. I understand that Garrett Wilson's dealing with hyperextended knee. He's likely out this week. I know he's technically doubtful, but doubtful players don't play. Let's be honest. Maybe he misses one more week, but I think at the end of the day, he's going to be fine. Derrick Henry coming back with Lamar Jackson. Maybe it gets a little bit better. If you prefer running backs, keep Henry, but I much prefer overall fantasy production, and I'm getting that from the wide receiver position. So give me Garrett Wilson. And before we move on to another question, Gator, we got a super chat.
Did we? Let's jump into it. See if I can pull it up. There we go. All right. Would you trade Ladd for Kamara? My running backs are Barkley and Mason.
I would prefer Ladd in this scenario. While I love Kamara and hopefully things get a little bit better, it's just really hard to trust him on a bad offense. They're not throwing to him. He's not producing as much in the passing game as I'd hoped. And they've been working in Kendre Miller quite a bit, that his carry numbers aren't significantly high. And I think Ladd is really starting to turn the corner. That, you know, if I'm willing to move Ladd, I would probably want to try to target somebody like a J.K. Dobbins or a Cam Scatterbo, who I think ultimately offer better rest of season value than Alvin Kamara.
Yeah. My only question would be, QJ is coming back. Does that scare you at all, what we saw the first couple of weeks?
No, because I think now the pecking order is shifted. It's QJ, Ladd, and then Keenan Allen, whereas in the early part of the season, it was QJ and Allen.
Fair. All right, Megan over there on Twitter. Oh, by the way, thank you for the super chat there. Megan over on Twitter says, start 2 full PPR, Mason, Dowdle, Pollard, or Spears. Also, I'm sorry, Woody Marks. Also,
go Birds. I like Megan. All right, full PPR. It's Dowdle and Mason for me. Can't really trust Marks. Chubb isn't going anywhere. Pollard, Spears. I mean, they kind of eat at each other right at this point. Hopefully, we see some more Spears simply because, that passing game needs so much help. But it's Mason and Dowdle. It's the first two, Megan.
I like it. Quicks says Pittman, Bourne, or Golden in a full PPR.
I think Pittman's a pretty solid floor, but as long as Mac Jones is starting and their wide receivers are still hurt, I don't know how you can sit Kendrick Bourne at this point.
I 100% with you. I did like what I saw from Golden last week.
Yeah, he's definitely starting to get worked more into the offense, but again, they spread the ball around so much. He's just so difficult to
very, very fair
bank on.
Quincy says, in a 10-man league, I have JD5 and Kraft for my tight end. Would you drop Fields and pick up Fannin?
I mean, I don't think you need Fannin considering you have Kraft, and Kraft has already had his bye week. I mean, I would rather just wait for a Fields blow-up game and then trade him versus just dropping him outright. I mean, I guess it's not the worst thing to have a backup tight end, but again, like, you have a top 5 option in Kraft. I don't think you need one.
Let me ask you this, because I do fantasy a little bit different, and I do like to play the aggressive defense kind of thing.
Okay.
So picking up Fannin here so that somebody else can't pick up Fannin, if that's a possibility, might be, even if he's sitting on your bench, whatever.
But for me, how do you view Fannin rest of season then? Are you treating him like a top 12 tight end, or is he just a streamer?
Well, I mean, maybe he is just a streamer, but Njoku not being out there, he is going to be there for Dylan Gabriel this week. And all you're trying to do is just play defense against whoever would pick him up this week.
But now you're dropping Fields and you're giving somebody a potential top 7 quarterback.
And 99% of the world doesn't give shit about Fields anyway. So
you'd be surprised. There are still plenty of people that view Fields as a starter. And we do have one more super chat from Skeeter.
All right, go ahead and bring it up if you can. You're down there.
Yep.
So would you trade Ladd for Dobbins or ETN? Okay.
Well, I literally just said, like, if I'm moving Ladd, like Dobbins would be somebody I would target. ETN as well. I think those are all kind of in that second, third tier of running backs that would fit the mold for somebody that I consider a top 20 wide receiver.
Yeah, I like that trade a quite a bit more. So yeah, I'm with you there. I would absolutely go after either one of those guys. Thank you again for the super chat, Skeeter. Dale Water says, thanks for the Thursday night advice. Dropped Fields, used Chase Brown and Rodgers, half-point PPR, scored 64 points.
Now we're doing. Look, I love it.
Let's go. I'm hoping you jumped into our Discord and got that advice. That's probably from Wednesday night show, though. Pick one for fantasy sports here. Rest of season, PPR. Tidley, I guess that's.
I'm guessing that's Tillman.
Ridley or
Ridley. Yeah.
Okay, let's go with Ridley, Fannin, Wandell, Jennings, Dobbs, Luther Burden, Bam Knight, or Spears. Pick one. Rest of season.
I hate these rest of season questions for back of the roster players. Because you're gonna end up churning these guys throughout the rest of the season. Probably go Ridley, Wandale, Dobbs, Jennings, Fannin, Burden, Spears, and Knight.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I might flip Wandale and Ridley.
I mean, that's fair.
But I think the rest of the
both of those guys have rookie quarterbacks, so
right. But the difference is Ridley's a little bit older and injury, so that's my only concern there. But yeah, I think that order is pretty dead on. For Quicks, Waller or Pitts.
Atlanta's on Monday, right?
Atlanta is playing San Francisco Sunday night.
Okay.
Miami, of course, has Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't love Waller this week, and it's less about the weather and more about just the Browns defense as a whole. Give me Pitts. That San Francisco defense took another blow losing Fred Warner, so they don't really have anybody that can competently cover tight ends. So I'll side with Pitts this week.
All right, and Quicks comes right back, and he says Fannin or Michael Mayer because I have Bowers that's out and the weather.
I'd rather lean Fannin personally. I just really don't like that Raiders offense. Truthfully, I think Fannin's going to be more of a volume play. They're not afraid to throw the football clearly. I mean, trusting a rookie to throw 52 times who can't throw it more than 10 yards down the field is certainly a decision. But Mayer to me just feels more touchdown dependent than volume based. And I think anytime I have a tight end that can see volume, I much prefer that over trying to chase touchdowns.
It's so aggravating. Michael Mayer looked so good year one, and then of course Mike Bowers just destroyed all hope there. Harris, this is Brees, Kamara, or ETN rest of the season. Again, what the rest of the season?
Well, this makes more sense considering you're talking about RB2s. I'd rank them ETN, Brees, and Kamara. I mean, Brees is number one here based on talent, in my opinion, but it's just, that offense as a whole just really kind of drags them down. But they're using ETN like a workhorse in Jacksonville. So, workhorse that's producing, give me that all day. So, yeah, I would go ETN, Brees, and then Kamara.
Yeah, I want to look up real quick. I want to see because, Brees has had a couple games where he's had at least 5 targets. So, but that's the other side is ETN does get a lot of targets as well. Mm-hmm. Here's one you should love from Jay. Should I trade Dowdle for a Chan?
God, if you can get HN for Rico Dowdle, you do it in a heartbeat.
Done. Smash.
Like, holy goodness.
That right there is the epitome of living off of
Sell
2
high.
weeks of selling high.
That's a sell high, 100%.
Jay, if you can do that, you should not even ask the question. You should have said you did this already.
Yeah.
Quincy, playing against Jamar Chase, need 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, flex. Sutton, Rice, Mike Evans, CMC, Achan, Bill, Vidal, or Henderson. 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex.
All right. So your running backs are CMC and HN. Those should always be your 2 running backs. I'm going to go Rice and Sutton. And then it's between Evans and Vidal for me in the flex. I don't know, Jay, you're the Bucs fan. Do you trust Evans in the first week back?
I do. But looking at, because Vidal going up against the Indianapolis Colts.
Colts do have a tough defense. Here's what I would say. If you're chasing the upside, go Evans.
Yeah. Because
I think Vidal offers a safer floor because of volume. But again, it is a tougher matchup. So you're probably going to be sweating that one. But again, you need to chase the upside. So you need that touchdown upside. That's what Evans presents when he's on the field. So I would go 3 wide receivers. I love Bill though. That's the problem.
But it's like you brought up a minute ago when we were talking about Bill with another comment. Yes, he's playing against Dallas, but he's not involved at all in the passing game. Sutton is playing at home against the Giants.
Yeah, and their pass defense is god awful.
Yep. Rice I think is an absolute. We're absolutely playing him.
CMC. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. I guess when I was initially looking at this, I thought I already had Bill starting. So yeah, you can take Vidal out of the conversation. It would be between Bill and Evans for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so CMC, HN, Sutton, Rice. For your flex, Bill is definitely the safe play if you don't trust Evans first week back from a hamstring. That's what I would say. If you trust him, start him. But otherwise, it's Bill.
Yep, I think I'm there with you. Zachary says, do I take this immediately? Mate worried about CMC re-injury. Rashee Rice, wide receiver 1, and needs depth. I might get them both for Warren and Dowdle. Plus 2 of these, Jameson, Devontae, or Addison. So he's getting CMC and Rashee Rice.
God, if you can do that, I would trade every single person listed to get those 2.
My question is, which Warren is this? Is Tyler Warren? I mean, it really doesn't matter. Is it Tyler Warren or is it Jalen Warren? I guess it really doesn't matter. And then which 2 would you add to this, Jameson, Devontae, or Addison?
Any of them. Would not even care.
Pick 2.
You're getting the RB, you're getting a top 3 running back in CMC. You're getting a potential wide receiver 1, top 12 guy in Rice for the rest of the season. Shit, I would give up all 5 of these guys to get those 2. And, all right, Zachary chimes back in. It's Jalen Warren. Okay, cool.
Okay, yeah. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would give up all of them.
Day of the Water says I picked up Tez Johnson while Puka, Purnell.
I'm guessing that's Pearsall.
Yeah. And Wilson are hurt. I plan to play Williams, but Tez discussion helps me. Okay, so
here's the thing with Jameson Williams. Much like Tez, you're hoping on a big play because volume is not going Jameson Williams' way.
They're the same guy.
They're literally the same guy. It's just one is bigger. That's it. One is bigger and makes a lot more money. That's about it.
For this week, and I'm not, by no means am I saying the Bucs secondary is elite, because they're not. But with all the problems in the Detroit secondary, did that factor into it at all? Knowing that both of these teams, for the most part, are heavy dose of passing, but it's all the passing for Detroit is filtered between 2 players, with it being Amon-Ra and Sam
Laporta has been taking that step up, which has basically rendered Jameson Williams obsolete.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's the thing with JMO. Could he pop in any given week? 100%. That's his game. That's what he is. He's a more well-known version of Trey Tucker at this point. Like, that's what he is. Tez right now is producing out of necessity because the Bucs just have nobody else. It's not even like he lit the world on fire last week, but he scored a touchdown. And that's why we're talking about him.
I think that's why J-Mo's got back into the conversation as well. I mean, 6 catches on 7 targets with a touchdown last week. But that's it.
The week before that, he had 1 target, 1 catch for 9 yards.
He had 8 targets a week for that, and he only caught 2 of them.
Yeah, like his catch percentage has been dog shit lately.
Yeah. Flip a coin.
That's really what this is. I mean, look, I guess to me, it just depends. Which offense do you like better?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can see a scenario where Aiden Hutchinson just like gets in Baker's face all freaking game, and he's rattled, and he's having to scramble.
I don't like you right now.
And then we just see a bunch of Rachaad White dump-offs. And then maybe they get into the red zone and they look at Mike Evans, right? I could also see a scenario where the Bucs pass rush is all up in Jared Goff's face. They're blowing up the middle. They're stuffing the run. And the Bucs are just doing what the Bucs do on offense. Best case scenario is this is a shootout. And both these teams are putting up 30 points. And it's a 34-30 game, right? And if that's the case, you're probably fine starting either of these guys. What I would suggest would be, if you're looking at it based on targets, I think J-Mo has a better opportunity to see targets simply because he's more well-known in his offense. Tez probably has a clearer path towards production because there just isn't anybody else.
That's fair.
Based on that, I would probably lean Tez this week.
Some questions like this, and I think I've brought this up before. I try to look and see what Vegas looks at too. Bucks are dogs by 5.5, but the over/under is the second highest.
Yeah, it's just behind the Commanders and Cowboys.
52.5.
What's their receiving lines? Just curious.
Let's look at their lines real quick. Let me get over to receiving. Jameson Williams is 50 yards,
which feels about right. I would take the under.
And let's look at
Tez is probably 25.5 or something.
Probably, yeah. That Tez Johnson, right at 20.
Oh, wow. Yeah. We'll see. And there you go. I mean, with those lines set that high,
I'm sorry,
percentage based.
That's incorrect. That was for longest.
Okay,
that was for longest. So I'd have to look a little bit deeper in to find it. But I'll look at longest reception for both of them. Jameson Williams' longest reception is at 22. Tez is at 19. So they're real freaking close.
Yeah. So by that logic, they both play the exact same role in their offense.
100%. So
it literally day on the water. It's flip a coin.
You flip a coin. Tristan says Waller or Taylor.
Again, it's a volume versus touchdown upside. I would feel safer going with Taylor this week. The Cleveland Browns defense is no joke, and it's not like the Miami offense is firing on all cylinders this week. So give me Taylor.
Yep. Comes back as Kraft, Fannin, Mason Taylor.
I'm not sitting Tucker Kraft.
Not. Here it is. It's already here. It's tight end week, Eve, and we are dominating the comments with tight ends. Harry says, pick one tight end this week: Otten, Fannin, Henry, or Mason Taylor.
Again, I would say Taylor's the volume play here. I still look at Hunter Henry as a top 8 option. Like just like any tight end, he's going to have his ups and his downs. He scored more touchdowns than everybody this season. I believe he's higher ranked than everybody this season. Actually, I am kind of curious where Hunter Henry ranks among tight ends right now. Right now, he's tight end 8 on the season. I mean, he's seeing about 5 targets a game. He scored 3 touchdowns. It's Hunter Henry for me. I know Fannin has seen more targets. There's maybe a good chance that that continues. So again, like if you want a volume kind of play, Fannin Taylor would be the guy. Give me the guy that's in the better offense. And right now that's Hunter Henry.
And I'd be leaning Kate Otten here, but I understand your Hunter Henry love on this particular question with these four. I think there's a possibility that you do have a lot more volume with Otten than Hunter Henry this week. And it's just this week is what I'm referring to. But anyway, either one of
the Patriots have the Titans, dude. That Titans defense is awful.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah, but they have more weapons on the outside the Bucs don't have. But that, again.
Who? Stephon Diggs?
He's injured. They get booty.
Who has 2 good games this season? He's not consistent.
Well, I mean, we're selling Rico Dallard on a high of 2 games, too.
Well, I understand that, but those have been 2 in a row, and he's put up 400 total yards. That's the difference.
Fair. That's over 400 yards. It's not.
That's my point.
Marcus, Kittle or Fenton, and would you start QJ this week or Tet? Pittman, Vidal, and I had Higgins on the bench. Damn it!
I don't blame you on the Higgins on the bench part. That's the unfortunate side effect of rostering T. Higgins. For tight end, look, much like with Rashee Rice, you've been holding Kittle to get him back.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting him, plain and simple. When he plays, he's a top 3 tight end. So that's not fanning on a weekly basis. So I'm starting Kittle. In terms of the wide receivers, flexes, it's QJ for me. When he plays, he's a very vital part of that Chargers offense. The Colts defense, they're on the road this week. They're good, but they also bend a lot. Like, they will give up some chunk yards, and that's QJ's game. He's a yards after the catch merchant. So I'm fine going QJ over Pittman this week.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I'm not sitting Kittle. Like you say, you've been waiting this long for me. I get Atlanta's defense is very good.
And they're very good against tight ends too.
But it's Kittle. If anybody can break a defense, it's somebody like Kittle.
Especially when there's nobody else. We already answered this one from Matt.
Did we?
On
okay.
Twitter. Yeah.
All right. So but what you said, it's Kittle all day for me. Trade Hurts and ETN for Kyron. He has May.
I don't know that Kieran is that big of an upgrade from ETN, if I'm being honest. Like I'm fine with this ideology of, trading Hurts because you have Drake May. That's fine. I mean, they're QB 4 and 5 on the season. If you trust May, great. Use Hurts as a trade piece. If I'm packaging Hurts with ETN, I'm trying to go for like a Devon Achane or a CMC. Like, I'm going for that next tier because I think that Kieran, ETN, Breece Hall, they're kind of in that third tier of running backs for me. Like, I want that next tier. That's what I'm trying to do if I'm trying to upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, you're trading away a top 6 quarterback, even if you have May. I mean, Hurts is still a top.
But again, quarterbacks in redraft don't have the same value unless it's Superflex. And I'm going under the assumption this is not Superflex.
Yeah.
That's not a widely used platform.
I get it. I get it.
So, yeah, we got to toss that dynasty brain out.
It's not the dynasty brain. I'm just looking at the rankings of it all. But yeah, anywho, we buy houses near you. Good morning, fellas. Which DST do you like better this week? Green Bay, Browns, Atlanta, or Seattle?
Green Bay is Ryan's. I think that's his stream of the week this week.
They're up against Arizona.
No, I know. I love Green Bay this week. I was just trying to verify his rankings really quick, but yeah, he's got Packers as the defense 4 this week. Who are the other options?
The Browns,
12,
Atlanta,
Falcons at 16,
and the Seahawks.
Seahawks he has at 10. So yeah, it's the Packers. Which again, I understand that, kind of the discourse really around the Packers is that, they started hot. They haven't really been, closing the gap, like getting the sacks, et cetera, like that. But Ryan talked about this on Wednesday. They're, I think, top 5 in the league in pressures. Like, they're hurrying opponents. And now you more than likely have a backup quarterback once again for the Cardinals starting in Jacoby Brissett. Backups tend to do well their first game, and then they regress and actually look like backups the second game. So that's kind of the options that you want to look at. Browns in bad weather, I do like as well. That Miami offensive line is absolutely terrible. And Tua just is coming off a game where he threw 3 picks. So those would be the 2 that I would look at. I'll side with Ryan and the Packers here.
I like it. Just traded Pittman and Hurts for Brian
Thomas.
Thomas. Yeah, what I said, isn't it?
No,
Pickens and Hurts for Brian Thomas Jr. and Mahomes.
I mean, I don't hate it. You're definitely getting an upgraded quarterback by a large margin, actually. Mahomes is QB1 overall in the season. Definitely giving up the better wide receiver. But I think the logic here is that with Lamb's return, Pickens will kind of regress. So you've probably already gotten the best games out of Pickens. Whereas BTJ is more ascending right now. All the talk of, we need to get Travis Hunter the ball on more first read plays, blah, 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 this and that, probably doesn't make you feel too great about BTJ, but you're taking QB1 and giving him his best weapon back. Mahomes is going to carry fantasy teams this season, so I'm fine with this trade.
Yeah, I like it as well. Should I start Kittle over Mason Taylor? I think we kind of just answered this one a minute ago. It is Kittle for me.
Yep, Kittle for me as well.
All right, KJ says, what's up, guys? If either DeAndre Swift, Josh Jacobs are out on Sunday, should I drop Ban Knight for any one of these guys? Green Bay matchup is tough, full PPR.
I mean, I'm fine dropping Bam Knight if you need to grab, like, who's the backup? Is it Wilson? Manuel Wilson or Chris Brooks, one of those guys for Green Bay?
Chris Brooks seems to be getting the receiving work.
Wilson's more of the hammer.
Yeah.
Swift, by all accounts, looks like he's going to play. Same thing with Jacobs. I don't think you'll need to worry too much about it. Kyle Monungai really hasn't done anything, quite honestly. I wouldn't really trust Bam Knight, but
I just for shits and giggles, I went and looked, and Wilson is not worth picking up. Chris Brooks, who I actually have picked up in a couple of spots, he's not worth picking up. He's just not seeing the field.
Well, but again, I mean, the idea is if Jacobs is out, like those guys, their snap share obviously is going to increase. But Wilson did fine last season. He had over 5 yards per carry, I believe. Like he was a great fill-in when they did rest Josh Jacobs. So I wouldn't mind Wilson. And again, we're talking about hypotheticals here. If Josh Jacobs is out, which I don't think he will be. So.
I'm not sure what Ellie's talking about here. Wandale with a tough matchup.
I'm guessing, would you start Wandale with a tough matchup? I mean, it really just depends on who else you have. I mean, I'm not rushing to start Wandale Robinson this week because I think that Jackson Dart's going to struggle. I don't think you're going to see more than probably 175 passing yards. And you're probably going to see a couple of turnovers there as well. Denver eats up rookie quarterbacks in Denver. That's statistically proven if you really want to go back and look at the numbers. We talk about it all the time. Joe Zolo brings it up on NPI every Wednesday night. When Denver plays rookies, they ate up Cam Ward in his first start this season. Don't be surprised if they do the exact same thing to Jackson Dart this year. So, no, I would not be rushing to start Wandale Robinson. But again, I don't know how deep the league is. I don't know what your other options are, Eli.
And that Denver defense has already started talking smacked to Jackson Dart. So they are ready to go. Looking ahead to week 8 for We Buy Homes Near You. Tight end 1, McBride will be on bye. Should he roster Cade Otton versus the Saints or Mason Taylor versus the Bengals?
With Otton, it really just kind of depends how many of the wide receivers are going to be back. I mean, I don't think you'll get Puka back by week 8, but there's a chance you get Chris Godwin back. So if you have Godwin and Evans healthy, I don't think you need to roster Otton. That's a long way of saying for me it's Taylor. I just think even if Wilson comes back, he's still a more prominent figure within that Jets offense. And if the Bengals offense continues to look the way that they did on Thursday, the Jets are going to have to throw to keep up. That's going to benefit Mason Taylor. So I would look ahead with Taylor.
I think I'm agreeing with you here because you turn right around in week 9 is when the Bucks are on bye. So
Yeah.
I think I'm going that route as well. A Maynard or Vidal for tomorrow?
A Manor definitely gets a bump with Ridley out. Not a great matchup though. He's likely going to see a lot of Christian Gonzalez. So I'm going to lean Vidal for the volume.
Any bad matchup for him as well.
Yeah, right.
Stephen George, good morning. Coker or Kendre in the flex half-point PPR?
I will say it again. Stephen, I'm not a cokehead. I don't understand all this Jalen Coker hype. I just don't get it. So, yeah, give me Kendre.
Okay, so this one is interesting because Dave Canales come out and he's like, oh yeah, we know who we're starting. We know who's going to get the bulk of carries. So Josh, Quicks needs to know, is it Chuba? Is it Dowdle?
I hate playing this game because I every single time I think I know where a coach should go, they prove to me how fucking stupid they are. I'm going to say Dowdle because I'll say it, and I've said it for the last couple of weeks. You cannot put that genie back in the bottle.
And that is exactly what I was going to bring up is on Monday.
On Chuba's best day, he could never do what Rico Dowdle just did.
Yep.
And you can run on the Jets. I think best case scenario, it's a 50-50 split if I'm being 100% honest.
I was fixing to ask that question.
Which again, it to me, that just lowers the ceiling of both of these players. But I would rather trust what I've seen the last 2 weeks, and Dowdle has been that fucking dude. So give me Dowdle.
My only concern, to be quite honest, in it not being Dowdle, is the amount of rushing attempts he's had over the last 2 weeks.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I said best case, I think it's a 50-50 split.
And that sucks for fantasy, doesn't it?
It does.
Quakes also wants to know Keenan Allen or Monty in the flex.
Normally I'd say Keenan simply because the Bucks tough run defense but I'm going to lean Monty. Bucks have been giving up more rushing yards, and obviously losing Kalijah Cansey is not helping that matter any. And then Dave Campbell, the head coach, already came out and said that we need to get Monty more involved. I believe he only had 4 rush attempts last week. So I think you're going to see more volume with Monty this week. Keenan Allen saw 7 targets last week against the Dolphins and caught 4 of them for 29 yards. Like, that's just not, they're not looking at him downfield. With QJ coming back, I don't really see how that's going to change any. And again, talking about putting the genie back in the bottle, like we know what they had with Ladd McConkey last season. These last couple of weeks, they finally rediscovered what they had in Ladd McConkey. So I think you're just going to start seeing a shift where Keenan Allen is just going to be more of that wily, third down veteran, guy that helps them move the sticks more than a really truly prominent role in this offense, especially when you consider what Aronde Gadsden has been able to do from the tight end position. Like, Keenan Allen is just a luxury at this point. Like, he's a break glass in case of emergency guy. So I'm going to lean Monty here in the flex.
I don't like it against my Buccaneers, but yeah, I think I'm leaning that way as well. Steven says, I hope you are having a fabulous weekend. Who to start, PPR, AJ Brown or Trent McMillan?
This is an instance where I'm probably going to lean AJ Brown. Again, don't love the Panthers on the road. I think if they're smart, they just lean on the running game. The Jets can't figure out how to stop the run, and that defense has been really bad. And I think that's how they need to turn around this bad luck of we don't know how to play on the road. Lean into the running game. You get your starter back, quote unquote, in Chuba Hubbard. You've seen what Dowdle as the backup's been able to do the last 2 weeks. If I'm Dave Canales, I'm calling 60 rushing plays, or at least 45. Like, let's be honest here. Like, take the ball out of Bryce Young's hands and just let him be a game manager and say, we're going to play good defense. We're going to let the Jets beat themselves because that's what they do best. And then we're just going to run the football and keep the ball out of their hands and force them to throw the football and make mistakes. let them control the game. And if they do, again, that's the game plan that I would have, but coaches are fucking stupid and they don't listen to me. So I'm going to go with AJ. He still has a solid floor, even if the upside hasn't really been there as much. And again, it is a tough matchup. Hopefully the fact that they've had, 10 days off, so to speak, you can figure out how to get this offense back on track, but I'm going to go AJ Brown.
I love it. I love it. I think you might have just come up with one of the best sayings that a New York fan can think right now. New York Jet fan. We do have one win. We have beaten ourselves. Ricky says, should I go Diggs, Johnston, or Walker? Full PPR. Thanks. And then I believe he adds in Mayer after that as well. For
Myers. I would not be starting Myers at all. Ricky, this is Quinton Johnston for me. I would rank them Johnston, Diggs, Walker, and way below that, Myers.
I agree. 100%. Caesar says, Ingram, Otten, or Pitts this week? I know how much you love Ingram. So he's not even, you're just done with it.
It's not that I'm done. He's not consistent. I will say that, since he came back from the injury, he's been a little bit more involved in the passing attack, which again was kind of what everybody was hoping for when they drafted him so early. But it's the same thing that we've talked about going back to the offseason. Ingram is a volume play. And if he's not putting up, 8 catches for 80 yards every week, he's not really that relevant for fantasy because he doesn't score touchdowns. Mm-hmm. So for me, this boils down to Pitts versus Otten. I understand, San Francisco, an indoor team going on the road. I'm still going to lean Pitts over Otten this week.
I don't hate that one. Devin says,
that's a thank you, but I'll
we'll bring it up. Quicks.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. All right. And we'll be back right here. There it is. Should I start Michael Carter or Jerry Jeudy in my flex? I have a lot of players on injury or on bye. Devin, I am 100% with you with the injury bug right now.
Isn't Carter hurt too?
No, but he did take a back seat to Bam Knight until he fumbled on the first series.
Well, there you go. Carter's the reliable veteran. Bam Knight's just got a cool nickname. I'm going to lean Carter because you just can't pay me to start Jerry Jeudy. That's really what it pulls down to.
We've tried. I think it is Carter, 100% for Carter here. It's
ugly, Devin, and I feel your pain. I have quite a few teams that have been hit by the injury bug as well, so I feel you.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is in this situation, Carter is getting the run at receptions as well. So you do have that going for you there. Travis Etienne or DeAndre Swift?
It's Etienne for me.
You almost said Swift. I swear you almost said Swift there.
No, and again, he had the big bust out last week, 25.5 fantasy points. How much of that came on the 155-yard touchdown catch? You know what I mean? He's not doing that every week. I think he has a lower floor than Etienne most weeks. Etienne's just a better running back, in my opinion. So give me Etienne. And again, it's a tougher matchup. I get it. Who Chicago got this week?
Chicago is at home against New Orleans.
That does cloud things a little bit. I think I'm still going to go Etienne. But it's a relevant question because, again, Swift coming off a big week. Saints defense, not great. Yeah, I think I'm still leaning Etienne here.
Yeah, outside of not getting in the end zone, Swift hasn't had a horrible. He's still a RB2, but he hasn't had a horrible year. Would you trade Allen and Evans for Amon-Ra and Herbert? Yes.
In a heartbeat. You're getting the best player in Amon-Ra, and that's what you want.
All right. Woods Girl, good morning. Full PPR flex question. 1 wide receiver and 1 flex. Ted McMillan, Stephon Diggs, Bourne, Devontae Smith, and Kittle. She also has Ferguson.
So because you have Ferguson, this is really the only reason why I'm okay sitting Kittle. Let him get a game under his belt, right? Because you have that top 3, top 5 option that you can afford to make that move. And again, we've said it before. Atlanta's defense, they cover tight ends extremely well. Bourne is the definite for me. I'm going Bourne and Diggs here.
Question for you, even with Ferguson, are you okay knowing that CD is coming back this week and still playing and still starting Ferguson over Kittle in that instance?
Yeah, because even when Lamb was playing, Ferguson was still eating.
He's been a little light the last couple of weeks when it comes to targets. The touchdowns have saved him over the last couple of weeks, to be quite honest. I mean, he's still getting 7 targets, but I mean, the first couple of weeks he was getting 12 and 14. You know, that's kind of built him up a lot, but he wasn't getting touchdowns to start with. Now he's getting the touchdowns. Now he's got 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games.
Okay, so now it reverts back to getting all targets and no touchdowns. Okay, cool.
Okay. So
that's literally what I just heard from your mouth.
Right. The answer is still the same then. You're still
pretty much, yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there. PPR, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. QJ, Sutton, Bourne, Addison, Golden, or Woody Marks.
Ooh, QJ, Bourne, and Addison. I like Sutton. Addison's averaging a little over 15 points a game, and Philly gets absolutely destroyed by wide receiver 2s. So that's an easy one for me. And I think QJ and Addison just have, or QJ and Bourne have the most upside in a given week. Sutton's a close 4 here, but it would be QJ, Bourne, and Addison for me.
I really like this Minnesota Philly matchup because if Minnesota can come out in 11 personnel, they're going to destroy Philadelphia. Philadelphia,
yeah, which hurts my soul.
Yeah, so sorry about it. Nuke, will Mike Evans play? And if so, I need 2 wide receivers. All right, I'm sorry. I need a wide receiver 2 and a flex. I have Mason Taylor, Diggs, and Evans, and Hubbard. Mike Evans is trending to playing. He's still on the questionable, as Josh likes to say. That questionable tag doesn't mean a damn thing.
Yeah, it's more probable than questionable. I mean, you have a good enough wide receiver in Diggs that you don't have to feel pressure to start Evans. So that's what I would go as. Start both of them, but if Evans misses, flip to Taylor. I'm fine with that. Like, it's full PPR, so lean into the targets with Taylor. I'm fine with that. Especially because, like we were talking about earlier with the Chuba Hubbard versus Rico Dowdle start-sit question, like, we don't really know what the split is going to be now that, Dowdle has exploded the way that he has. Like, I still think that at best it's a 50-50 split, which ultimately limits Hubbard's upside. Now, they've used Hubbard more in the passing game in the past than they have Dowdle, so maybe that benefits Hubbard from a PPR perspective. But until we see what that split's going to look like, lean into the targets that we know that Mason Taylor is going to get this week. So it's Diggs, Evans. If Evans doesn't play, pivot to Taylor in your flex.
Yeah, I think that's an important one with not having Garrett Wilson there. The volume's going to be there for Mason Taylor as well, right? Should I start Wandale or Keenan this week for Witch's Brew?
Wandale's higher up the food chain, so that's kind of where I'm leaning. But I think you're going to see a similar ADOT from both of them. So I don't really know if that's a win.
Both of them have rough matchups, right? Keenan doesn't have a horrible matchup against Indy's back end.
Yeah, I mean, if Keenan's actually, like, if he actually runs out of the slot, like, it's a really good matchup. Colts get eaten alive by slot receivers. So I think Ladd's going off this week. But Denver's one of the toughest against slot receivers. So I kind of think you got to go Keenan this week, but I don't love the upside for either, truthfully. I mean, this is a straight floor play, and it's Keenan Allen for me.
I don't know if we missed this or not. Thank you for the super chat there. That's how.
Yeah, there's no question involved, but I know Devin asked a question earlier. So
yeah, and that's the only thing I think of was a big thank you there. So thank you right back. For flex, Evans, BTJ, QJ, or Dobbins. I think we've kind of hit on this a good little bit today.
Yeah, I would rank them QJ, Dobbins, BTJ, and Evans.
All right. I like it. I think we got a couple more and then we will get out of here, Josh. We've actually done pretty good today as far as time goes. Andrew wants to know for his flex, DJ Moore, Kendrick Bourne.
Kendrick Bourne. Not close.
Pretty damn easy. Sean, thank you. Appreciate you joining us tonight or today. Sutton bummed me out last week, so he was leaning the way you were talking there a minute ago with QJ as well. Devin has another trade here. I'm sorry, Kevin has another trade here. Gibbs and Allen for Bijan.
I mean, that's a fair price for Bijan. I mean, it would take a lot for me to give up Gibbs, but if I'm getting Bijan in return, yeah. Keenan Allen, again, I think he's kind of fallen by the wayside. If I'm the Bijan manager, I'm probably not accepting that, but just because, again, I'm not as high on Allen rest of season, so I don't think he really helps me. But it's certainly a fair package if you can pry Bijan from that.
Josh Allen.
Oh, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen and Gibbs.
Ooh. That's a lot for Bijan. If I'm the Bijan manager, I'm 100% taking it. But it also, too, it depends if I need a quarterback. Like, if I'm sitting there with, like, Drake May, I don't need to make that trade, and I'd rather just hold on to Bijan, right? But, you know, if I invested in, say, Justin Fields, then sure, because I'm still getting an RB1, and now I've drastically improved at quarterback, right? Okay, he's got Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't need Josh Allen, I still think that's a very hefty price to pay.
We gotta remember too, when we're doing these trades, you got to make sure it's not necessarily that you're winning the deal, they're winning the deal. That doesn't matter. But you can't make a trade for, like Josh was just saying, for a give them a running back to replace the running back you want, and assume that the best overall quarterback is going to tilt the scale.
So Kevin comes in that he has Justin Herbert. Mm-hmm. Personally, I would rather
send Herbert.
Send Gibbs with Herbert for Allen or for Bijan.
Yeah.
See if that tips the scales, right? I mean, I'm fine if you want to swing that deal and add Josh Allen because you feel comfortable starting Herbert the rest of the season. That's a lot to give up for Bijan. But again, I get it, because if you have Bijan Robinson, it's going to take you a lot to move off of him, right? And that's the kind of package that needs to come in return for you to want to move off of him. So I completely understand that. Kevin, I would start by offering Herbert with Gibbs for Bijan and see if that tips the scale some. But if not, sure, pivot to Josh Allen if you're fine starting Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I like the way you put that, Josh. Neo says Marvin Harrison Jr. at Ted McMillan this week. PPR.
Probably Marvin Harrison. I'm going to go MHJ. I'm going to go Marvin Harrison. I get it. The Packers defense, pretty solid. The pass rush is going to be in Brissett's face. Here's the one thing that I love. Backup quarterbacks know how to throw the football to the wide receiver ones. Why Jacoby Brissett can do it and Kyler Murray can, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to go Marvin Harrison over Ted this week.
I think Ted's going to see a lot of sauce up there in New York.
Yeah.
Zap, I got 3 questions. Pick 2. Kelsey, Mason Taylor, or Waller. Bourne, Dobbs, J-Mo. Kamani Vidal or Dowdle. So pick 2 of the tight ends, 2 of the wide receivers, and then 1 of either Vidal or Dowdle.
Okay. The first part of that, I'm going to go Taylor and Waller. I think Kelsey takes a big hit with Rashee Rice coming back. Again, don't love Waller's matchup, but he scores touchdowns, so I think there's at least some upside there if Miami's able to move the ball at all. Second part of this, I will sit J-Mo, Aline, Bourne, and Dobbs, and then I'm not putting the genie back in the bottle. I know I know that Carolina still doesn't know how they want to go. Apparently they do, and they just don't want to tell us. But I'm going to go Dowdle. It's a good matchup. And even at 50% of the snaps, he should do better than Vidal. So give me that.
I don't think Kelsey's going to take too much of a hit. I think he's actually going to get a bonus from it, but I don't disagree with the rest of your take there. Woods Girl says Bears Seahawks for defense. Both are at home. Yikes. Her opponent had Jamar Chase. Wah, wah.
Oh, that's unfortunate, Woods Girl. Goodness. So in terms of the defenses, let's see. Where does Ryan have?
Yeah. I think you had this, or Ryan had the Seahawks at like 8 or 10, something like that. And then where did he have the Bears?
He has the Bears at 9, Seahawks at 10.
Okay.
That's where he's got them. So,
I mean, Spencer Rattler's been okay this year.
Yeah, but I mean, he's going outside and bad so weather.
Bears for me.
I'm gonna lean the Bears too.
The Seattle again. That's Monday night. It's Houston. Versus Houston again at home in Seattle, but it's still Houston, the better team than the Saints.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean Bears.
Okay,
we're looking good the last couple of weeks. So.
Other wide receivers and tight ends are Nico, DK, Rice, Kittle. Which one would you keep out of Jennings, Waller, or Fannin?
Would I keep?
Yep. So I guess we're keeping one.
They might need to drop one apparently. I mean, you don't need 3 tight ends. That's kind of the big thing. I mean, I would rather have Kittle and Waller over Fannin. Jennings really hasn't done anything. I don't know if he's going to miss any time or if he's going to try to play through the broken ribs. If he's playing through the broken ribs, they're not going to heal, so he's going to be useless. It's between Jennings and Fannin for me.
You're keeping Waller.
Yeah, I would keep Waller. I always prefer wide receiver depth over tight end depth, so I would drop Fannin. But I would look to try to trade one of them, whether it's wide receiver or the tight ends. Yeah.
Trade them. Dylan, what up? Redraft full PPR. I need wide receiver help. 2 and 4. Got an offer to move Swift or Bill. In return, he would get QJ or Marvin Harrison Jr. Which running back does he move and which wide receiver does he go after?
I would rather go after QJ versus Marvin Harrison.
And you're sending Swift.
No, actually, I would rather have Swift over Bill simply because Swift is involved in the passing game. So if I could move Bill and get QJ, that's the ultimate move for me. That's how I would do it.
I like it. He was leaning Bill for Johnston. So he was leaning exactly the way you said to do it. Easiest remaining schedule for running backs. He does like Marvin Harrison Jr., but no Kyler leaning QJ. I like it. I think that's the way you go. All right. One more kicker question. Matt Gay, Eddie Pinheiro.
Of course we in on a fucking kicker question.
Where is Ryan?
Yeah, right. Look, when it comes to kickers, I go to the high scoring offenses. Matt Gay's in the matchup of the week, so give me Matt Gay.
Yeah, I don't. Smitty loves the extra comment.
I'm sorry, dude. I fucking hate kickers.
All right, guys. Like I said at the very beginning of the show, make sure you join us over in our Discord. We are talking all things fantasy, all things football. There is baseball chat going on in there as well. Basketball is fixing to fire up. I believe hockey's going to be firing up. So get over to our Discord. The link I will drop in the comments here in just a second. But make sure if you have any other start sit questions, you hit up Josh, hit up Club Fantasy over there on Twitter, Club Fantasy FFL right there. Man, Josh, fun show. Got through a lot of questions here. I hate that we are halfway through the season already, at least for the regular season. Next time we will see y'all will be Monday for Monday's Anxiety, the ultimate the ultimate bitch session going on over there. Josh, anything to add?
No, let's get out of here. I got to get to work.
Let's get the hell out of here. All right. We will see y'all Monday. Have a great weekend.